Hi there, it's Bill again. I feel like Jack Friedman with the Fundamental Minute, but here we go again for another training session on heat exchangers. And there's going to be another form I will send that's going to have, you know, a place for listing all the various heat exchanger information and like when you're talking to the customer and getting the breakdown of why you're there and what his needs are, the customer that is, and what they need and when they need it, what the problems are. So basically what I mentioned is like we said, national board number, nameplate information, reported heat exchanger issues. What issues are they having? What's causing their urgency. Uh, Also, media. What is the media in the tubes? What is the media in the shell itself? What are we dealing with? Oil or water or steam? Just what is it? Are they leaking into are the tubes probably leaking and they're getting tube media where they shouldn't be, or shell media where they shouldn't be? Just what's going on? Is it a temperature problem? And this will just help us, determine what we may have to do. We'll look at how old the unit is and how soon it's failed, and maybe there's an opportunity to upgrade the tube material. And we can also look at what it looks like, obviously, when we get it in the shop and say, wow, this has been attacked in a manner that's not normal. So maybe it's a metallurgical issue, but we can just put our best foot forward. Typically, if we have greater questions, we have to go to an OEM who has staff, trained for determining an improved material. We should always get as they say, a second opinion, because we're more repairing than re-engineering. So if we're going to do that, we need additional help. So, what are the quoting requirements? We have to make sure we know what we're doing, whether it's retubing a bundle, replicating a bundle, pulling out the whole heat exchanger shell and head, to what degree. Any visible observations, any flange leaks on any of the fittings, any valve leakage that's reported, valve packing leaks. Possibly they should repack or replace valves. It could be more business for us. That whole package, if you will. Any piping issues anticipated as you look at the unit. Fittings, maybe some unions should be added, and we can possibly do that. I don't know, even myself, how extensive we want to get into the pipe fitting aspect. I don't know if our people have been trained. I know when I was with a boiler company, they were more trained in that area and more used to it. So we have to look at, what our abilities are. And I think that's for another day. We can always talk about that and see if we need more training ourselves in our labor force. Uh, and then, like I said, any valves that are suggested to replace, gaskets and fasteners are going to be replaced more than not. Most of the time, I recommend that because of the heating up, cooling down, temperature gradients, your elongations and the metallurgical elasticity, as they say. The engineers will know that of the materials is under question as days and years go by and temperature rises and falls. So excursions and etc. So we just automatically just replace the fasteners or bolting, B7 or 2H, B7 studs, 2H nuts as a rule. So quantity and the lengths will be good to know. And like I said, any other gasket joints that are leaking, when you're taking the head off the shell, you have to take the piping that goes to the head off, if that's the case. And some flange joints or threaded joints. So you have to make sure that when you go back, you're going to need or have what you need to put it back successfully. So you're not going to have any leakages. Okay, on the head and shell, explain to the customer that they should always address the head components as potentially uh, the head to gasket tube sheet gasket joint. Gasket surfaces could be damaged. We also inspect and clean to ensure casting or fabrication integrity. Even with a new or retube bundle, the heat exchanger will continue to leak if the head is faulty. So don't minimize that. Don't just pick up a tube bundle, bring it to the shop, retube it, and bring it back. At least mention to the customer they may have to consider someone looking at their head or shell. Often the shell has to be cleaned out. There's a lot of debris found in many shells. They have to be cleaned out because that definitely will hurt efficiency. So many times the customer will clean the shell themselves, but we can offer to do it. It's labor, but also find out about materials that are in there. What do we have to be fearful of from a PPE standpoint, the safety of our men? We have to look into that. But check applicable retube bundle pickup, overhaul, test, and deliver. Make sure you know what they want. Would it be better just to purchase a new bundle under the circumstances and take out the old and put in the new, or just sell them a new bundle? Purchase a complete exchanger, shell tube, the whole caboodle, because it's just not worth it. The size, the cost of new doesn't really warrant repair. Do they want to plug or test tubes? This could be done in the shop or field. Do they want the bundle cleaned or something else cleaned? There are limitations on cleaning. We don't have a hot, clean tank. We would have to sub that out ourselves. So we don't want to get into too much of that if we can avoid it. There are companies that specialize in cleaning and have tanks and apparatus for that. We do the good way. We can clean tubes with that. However, again, that should be detailed and known by everybody, because sometimes the environmental situation is so stringent that we want to stay away from that and just do the actual retubing of the bundles. And but determining whether it's field or shop is bestest. Ask the question. Make sure it's not there, and if it is, we have to look at having it removed prior to our men being put on the spot with asbestos. We certainly wouldn't want that. And any other materials that we should know about. If applicable, note the rigging on the site and special tooling needed, carts like we talked about to get the exchangers out. Any pre-setup that may be needed, any welding for setting up for rigging in advance, power. What power is needed? Are they going to be down? Do we need any generators, anything like that? Sometimes you need an engine hoist that's on wheels to roll out the unit. Do we need that? Sometimes we need it in our shop. And again, any PPE or additional requirements, be specific, and such as any safety training that's needed on site. That will affect our quote. If an on-site pickup is required, assure that we have the correct truck. What truck is needed, the size, because we can't go there with a truck that can't pick up a heavy and long object. So that is important as well. So the whole situation has to be looked at thoroughly, like anything that's done in the field. So that's it. I'm sure there will be more questions, and feel free to ask. And again, this is Bill Corcoran, and I hope that this information will be useful. A lot of what I just mentioned will be on another form, and you can fill that out and see what that is. And again, questions are always asked for, because we want everyone to feel good about this. One last thing, I know as IVI and Collins goes forward, we are going to have to buy some equipment. There's equipment that we will need. We can rent to buy, but we will be looking at that as the interest and the jobs come up. Most of the equipment is relatively quickly available, so we don't expect a problem with that. It's just that, that old saying, you know what I'm going to say, spend it to make it. But seriously speaking, heat exchangers and tube bundles, I feel we're a very lucrative business. If we can do a good job, customers will want us back again and again, and the word will get out there. And we want to be the best at what we do. And sometimes, if it seems that there's too much information, rather have enough than not enough. So that's it for now until the next session. Thank you.